The cold of space was quiet. Stars burned like distant fires. And the black emptiness seemed endless. A ship drifted slowly among them. Its hull was scratched and dented. Smoke curled from the engines. Inside, the lights flickered weakly. The air was thin, and the passengers struggled to breathe. They were pale, thin, and small. Unlike any humans, their eyes were large and dark, reflecting fear and pain. Ethan Brooks watched from his patrol ship, leaning forward over the observation window. "What is that?" he asked. The sensors showed a damaged vessel moving without power. Its energy signature was strange, unlike any known ship. The readings made his stomach tighten. "It's alive," he whispered. But barely. He called his crew together. "We are going to board," he said. "We don't know what we'll find, but we can't just leave them." The patrol team suited up and moved to the docking bay. Each member felt the tension. No one knew what these beings were, or if they were dangerous. Yet, something about the small, drifting ship made them feel that time was short. The docking was rough. The old magnetic clamps barely held. As the hatch opened, smoke spilled out. Ethan stepped forward with a flashlight. The interior was dark and quiet, except for faint wheezing. Broken equipment and torn wires hung from the ceiling. The floor was wet and sticky. "Sir, movement ahead," one of the crew said. Ethan nodded. He carefully moved toward a group huddled in the corner. They were shivering, wrapped in thin blankets. A few of the beings leaned against the walls, unable to stand. One of them, a young female, tried to move toward him. Her hands were delicate, almost translucent. Her eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and hope. "My name is Lyra," she said softly in broken Galactic standard. Ethan knelt down to her level. "I'm Commander Ethan Brooks. We are here to help you. Can you walk?" She shook her head slightly. "Many too weak," she whispered. "Please, do not send us back." Ethan looked around. There were more of them, children, elders, and others who could not speak. Their clothes were torn, and they had cuts and bruises. Some had faint burns on their arms and faces. It was clear they had survived an attack or some disaster. Ethan's heart tightened. "We're not sending you back," he said. "Not ever." The team worked quickly to move the Vreen, as they were called. They carried the weak ones, guided the injured, and brought the children onto the human ship. Ethan stayed near Lyra. She looked around nervously. We have no home," she said. Her voice trembled. "The others, they cast us out. We are nothing." Ethan shook his head. "Not here. You have a home now." The Vreen passengers were quiet, some too weak to speak. Ethan noticed the fear in their eyes whenever a human approached. They had been treated badly for a long time. The thought made him angry. How could the Galactic Alliance call themselves civilized while abandoning these people to die? He vowed to protect them on the journey to Earth. The human ship became a small, moving sanctuary. The medical team worked day and night, giving fluids, checking wounds, and monitoring the breathing of each Vreen. Lyra helped as she could, showing knowledge of medicine despite her weakness. She explained, slowly, that her people had been blamed for a war they did not start. The Alliance had labeled them defective and forced them to leave. The Vreen had no choice but to run. Ethan listened carefully, his mind racing. He could imagine how alone they must have felt. "We are different," Lyra said one night, her voice small. "We have no friend, no planet, no one to care." Until now, she looked at him with hope in her dark eyes. Ethan wanted to promise her safety, but he knew the galaxy might not allow it. Still, on his ship, they were safe. That was enough for now. The children were the hardest to watch. Some cried quietly at night, afraid of the strange surroundings. One small boy clung to Ethan's arm. Unable to speak words, Ethan knelt and rubbed his back gently. "You are safe here," he said. "We will not let anyone hurt you." The boy looked at him, eyes wide, and finally let go of his fear just a little. The journey was long. Every hour, Ethan worried about detection. The Galactic Alliance had the largest ships, and Earth was not protected like a major military base. If they were found, they might be forced to give the Vreen back, but he refused to think of turning back. The humans had seen enough suffering already. They would not abandon these people. One morning, Lyra approached him. "Your people are strange," she said softly. "You fight wars, but also save lives. You do not leave the weak behind." Ethan smiled faintly. "Humans are stubborn," he said. "We fight sometimes, but when we see someone in need, we do what we can." Lyra nodded slowly, her eyes shining with gratitude. She seemed smaller in her fear, but stronger in her hope. The ship finally approached Earth. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from above, surrounded by thin clouds and shining oceans. Lyra gasped. "Home?" she whispered. Ethan nodded. "Yes, this is your new home." The Vreem began to stir. Some lifted their heads to see mountains, forests, and oceans for the first time. The humans had prepared a temporary camp in Alaska, far from major cities, where the Vreem could rest and recover without fear. When they landed, the humans quickly helped the Vreem off the ship. They were met by Dr. Karen Holt, who studied alien biology. She knelt beside Lyra and the children. "We will take care of you," she said gently. "You are safe here." Lyra looked around, tears forming. She had never heard words like this. Her species had been cast out, feared, and blamed for the first time. Someone spoke with kindness without fear or judgment. The camp was busy but quiet. Humans worked to provide food, water, and medical care. The Vreem were hesitant at first. Some backed away, afraid of human hands. Others held their children close. But over time, they began to accept help. Lyra helped translate their needs. Children played in the grass, laughing quietly. The elders watched, still wary, but their eyes softened. Ethan and his team stayed close. Every night, they patrolled the perimeter, watching for danger. The Galactic Alliance might send ships, but Earth had not seen war like this before. Ethan worried, but he also felt pride. These people, rejected by their own galaxy, were safe because humans chose to act when others would not. That choice would change many lives. Lyra often walked with Ethan after the day's work. "Your world, it is strange," she said, looking at the mountains and rivers. "But it feels kind." Ethan nodded. "Kindness is stronger than any weapon," he said. "You will see that here." She smiled faintly, a small hope forming in her heart. The first time she felt safe in her life, she began to believe humans were different. At night, when the camp was quiet, Ethan thought about the galaxy beyond. Planets, fleets, empires, all of them had turned their backs on the Vreem. Earth was small, not powerful, but it had chosen to stand for what was right. That mattered more than any fleet or weapon. He looked at the sleeping Vreem, fragile and pale in the moonlight. He made a silent promise. They would not be sent back. They would live. They would heal. And humanity would protect them. Lyra awoke at sunrise, staring at the bright sky. Children laughed nearby, playing with sticks and stones. She remembered the dark of space, the fear of dying alone, and she could hardly believe it was over. The humans had given her hope. She held a child's hand and whispered softly, "We are not alone." Ethan watched from the edge of the camp. Karen worked with the elders to provide medicine and food. The Vreem were still cautious, but slowly they began to trust. He knew the galaxy would soon notice. When it did, they might send soldiers, diplomats, or worse. But for now, the Vreem were safe. Earth had chosen them. The first day ended quietly. Stars appeared in the night sky, and the wind moved softly through the trees. Lyra sat beside Ethan. "Your people, they are strong," she said, "even when you are afraid." Ethan nodded. "We do what we must," he said, "and sometimes we do more than expected." She smiled faintly. Perhaps, she thought, the galaxy was not yet lost. Ethan knew the journey had only begun. The Vreem had come to Earth, fragile and scared. The galaxy had rejected them, but humanity had opened its arms, and that choice, he thought, would echo far beyond this quiet corner of the universe. He looked at Lyra and the sleeping. "Children, we will protect you," he said softly. "No one will cast you out here." And for the first time since the Vreem had fled, hope returned to their eyes. The Vreem camp was quiet in the morning light. Children ran among the tents, laughing softly, their small voices carrying over the soft wind. The elders gathered near the supplies, watching carefully as humans worked. The Vreen were still cautious, but slowly, curiosity began to replace fear. Dr. Karen Holt moved among them, carrying medicines and checking wounds. She knelt beside a small boy who had a scrape on his arm. "This will heal quickly," she said gently. The boy looked at her with wide eyes and nodded. He did not speak much yet, but the trust in his eyes made Karen smile. Lyra walked nearby, carrying water for the elders. She paused when she saw Ethan helping a child tie a loose shoe. Her dark eyes followed him. Humans were strange, she thought, but they were kind. They did not demand anything in return. They offered help, and they expected nothing. For the Vreen, that was a new feeling. Over the next days, the humans began to teach the Vreen simple routines. They learned how to prepare basic meals, care for the camp, and communicate in broken English. Lyra helped, using what she remembered from Galactic's standard and slowly learning the human language. She worked with Karen to help the sick and injured. She learned quickly, but she often paused, looking at the stars and thinking of the home they had lost. The children were the easiest to reach. They laughed, played, and learned quickly. They followed the humans, copying their movements, mimicking their words. One small girl, holding a wooden stick like a sword, ran to Ethan. "Watch me," she shouted. Ethan smiled and watched as she swung the stick with careful aim. Lyra laughed quietly, a sound that was soft and musical. For the first time, the children felt safe enough to play like children should. But safety was not permanent. Far beyond the solar system, a signal reached the Galactic Alliance. Their monitors had detected the damaged ship, now resting on Earth. Leaders of the Alliance frowned as they saw the small, fragile beings alive and safe. "They are here?" one officer asked. "Yes," another replied. "Humans have taken them in." The first officer's face darkened. "Humans have no right. They must return the Vreen immediately. Their survival threatens our authority." Back on Earth, Ethan received a message. "Commander Brooks, this is United Earth Command. You must be aware the Galactic Alliance has noticed the ship. They are demanding its immediate return. Advise your next move." Ethan read the message carefully. He looked at the camp, at the sleeping children, and the elders who depended on them. He shook his head. "We are not returning them," he said softly. Karen came to his side. "Are you sure?" she asked. "If the Alliance sends ships." Ethan nodded firmly. "I am sure. They will not abandon these people. We will protect them." Karen sighed, a mixture of worry and admiration in her eyes. "Then we must prepare. They may not ask twice." The humans worked harder to make the camp secure. Simple defenses were built, barriers, patrols, and early warning sensors. Ethan trained his team for the possibility of a confrontation. It was not just the Vareen's lives at stake now, but the humans who had chosen to stand with them. The small camp in Alaska became a symbol of defiance, though none spoke of it openly. Lyra walked among the tents, helping the elders. One elder approached her, speaking in the Vreen tongue. She knelt, listening carefully. When he finished, she translated to Karen. "He says, he has never felt safe until now. He cannot believe humans care without asking for something in return." Karen nodded. "Some humans are like that," she said. "We help because it is right." Lyra repeated the words to the elder. His eyes filled with tears. The Vreen had never known mercy like this. In the evenings, the humans and Vreen began to share stories. Around small fires, the Vreen told of their home planet, of cities in the sky and gardens under domes. They spoke of the war they had not started and the betrayal by the Galactic Alliance. Humans shared stories of Earth, of mountains, oceans, and the strange creatures that lived here. Slowly, a bridge was forming between the two species. Ethan spent much of his time with Lyra. They walked along the edge of the camp, talking quietly. "Your people, they have suffered much," he said. "And yet you survive." Lyra looked down. We have no choice. But we are tired." "So tired?" Ethan nodded. "You are not alone now. We will stand with you." For the first time, Lyra felt the weight of fear lift a little. Humans were different from the rest of the galaxy. They had chosen to care. One morning, alarms blared across the camp. Sensors had detected a small probe approaching from orbit. Ethan's team rushed to the control station. On the screen, a message from the Galactic Alliance appeared. You have harboring the Vreen without permission. Return them at once or face consequences. This is not negotiable. The humans paused, reading the message. Karen looked at Ethan. They did not understand kindness, she said softly. Or choice. Ethan clenched his fists. They will learn. We will not hand them over. He turned to the team. Prepare defenses. And send a message to the council. Let them know what is happening. Lyra watched from nearby, fear returning. They will attack, she whispered. Ethan knelt beside her. Perhaps. But Earth is not afraid of what is right. Lyra nodded slowly, trying to believe him. She had never seen anyone so confident in protecting those weaker than themselves. The days that followed were tense. Scouts watched the skies for incoming ships. Humans worked with the Vreen to improve camp organization. The Vreen learned to move quietly, to follow simple safety rules. Karen and Lyra worked tirelessly with the sick and injured, preparing for any emergency. The children laughed when they could, but the elders worried constantly, despite the tension. Small bonds grew. Vreen and humans began to work side by side. Children helped each other learn human words. Elders shared knowledge of medicine and plants from their planet, helping Karen understand alien biology. Ethan watched it all quietly. This cooperation, he thought, was stronger than any fleet of ships. The Vreen had been rejected, but Earth had given them a new beginning. One evening, Lyra approached Ethan with a small device she had recovered from the Vreen ship. This may help, she said. Ethan examined it. It contained data about the Vareen's past and the war they had been blamed for. If we show this, the galaxy may see the truth, Ethan said. They framed your people? Lyra nodded. Yes, they want others to think we are guilty. We are not, Ethan set the device aside. We will take it to the council. The truth will help protect you. As night fell, the camp became quiet again. Fires burned softly. The wind moved through the trees. Ethan walked among the tents, checking on the sleeping Vreen. Children were tucked in blankets, elders resting, and Lyra sat near a small fire, reading data from the device. For the first time, she felt hope growing inside her. Earth had taken them in. Earth had chosen to protect them. Ethan stood at the edge of the camp, looking up at the stars. He thought of the galaxy beyond, the vast empires and fleets. Most would turn away. Most would call the Vreen weak and unworthy. But humans had done what no one else would. They had chosen compassion. They had chosen courage. The next morning, humans and Vreen worked together. They built new shelters, cleared paths, and organized supplies. Lyra showed other Vreen how to speak simple English. Children learned quickly, calling humans by name and sharing small gifts. The camp became alive with laughter and work, a sign that life could continue. But tension lingered. Every message from orbit reminded them of the Alliance's threat. Every distant signal could be a scout or a weapon. Ethan trained his team and spoke with the council regularly, asking for support. He knew that soon, the choice would come, to fight or to negotiate. But he was ready. Humans did not abandon those in need. One night, Lyra and Ethan sat beneath the stars. Your world. It is strange, she said softly. But it is kind, Ethan nodded. Kindness is not weakness. It is the strongest weapon we have. Lyra looked at the sleeping children nearby. Then perhaps we can survive here. Ethan smiled. Yes, you will survive. And you will thrive. The Vreen had begun to believe it. They had lost everything, yet here on Earth, they had found hope. And that hope would grow, not just for them, but for the future. Humanity had chosen to act when the galaxy had turned away. That choice, Ethan knew, would make a difference far beyond the mountains and rivers of Alaska. And far above, the stars watched silently. The galaxy had cast the Vreen out. But on Earth, they had been taken in. And for the first time in many years, Lyra and her people felt safe. The alarm sounded before sunrise. Ethan was already awake, standing at the edge of the camp. The sensors had detected a large object approaching from orbit. His heart tightened. The Galactic Alliance had sent a vessel larger than anything the humans had here. Its shadow stretched across the snowy fields as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Karen Holt joined him at the observation post. She looked at the massive ship with concern. "They are serious," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "They always are. But we will not back down." The Vreen stirred in the camp. Lyra ran to the children and elders. "Stay calm," she said in the simple English she had learned. Some of the younger ones clung to her hands. Unsure what would happen, Lyra's voice trembled slightly, but she tried to keep it steady. "Humans, they will protect us," she said. The Alliance ship hovered over the camp and broadcasted a message. Its tone was cold and commanding. "Earth, you harbor the exiled Vreen. Return them immediately or face the consequences. This is your only warning." Ethan stepped forward and spoke into the communicator. "We will not hand them over. The Vreen are under our protection. We do not abandon those in need." There was silence. Then the Alliance officer's voice returned, sharper this time. "You are a primitive world. You cannot resist us. Compliance is your only option. Do not test our patience." Ethan shut the communicator. He looked at Karen and the team. "They think we are weak," he said. "We need to show them we are not." The humans moved quickly. Patrols were sent to secure the area. Sensors were checked, and makeshift shields were prepared. The Vreen, though small and fragile, helped as they could. They brought supplies, carried water, and tended to the sick and injured. The children learned to hide and move quietly. Lyra taught them simple rules. Follow humans. She said, "They know what to do." Inside the Alliance ship, officers watched the Earth camp. They saw children running, elders moving carefully, and humans organizing quietly but efficiently. "Primitive," one officer said, frowning, "yet they are not surrendering. This is unusual." Another shook his head. "We expected fear. They show none. We must act soon." On Earth, Ethan called a meeting with the team, Karen, pilots, medics, and engineers gathered around a map of the area. "We are outmatched in firepower," he said, "but we have home advantage. The camp is fortified, and the Vreen are learning quickly. We can hold them off if we are smart." Karen nodded. "We need to protect the Vreen first. If they see violence, it will frighten them. Keep them calm and move them safely if needed." Lyra listened quietly. Her dark eyes reflected fear and determination. "We will not run," she said softly. "We stay together." Ethan smiled faintly. "Good. That is what matters." The first Alliance ship moved closer, scanning for weaknesses. Ethan's team activated defensive measures, using small turrets, sensor jammers, and hidden shields. The Vreen helped by moving supplies into safe zones and carrying injured children. Though fragile, they had courage. Ethan watched them and felt pride. This was more than survival, it was courage in the face of the galaxy. Meanwhile, Karen worked with Lyra to organize the sick and elderly. "They may try to frighten you," Karen said, "but stay calm. Humans will protect you." Lyra repeated the words to the Vreen, her voice steady now. She held the hands of a small child and whispered, "We are safe here. Trust humans." The Alliance officer spoke again over the loudspeaker. "You are fools. Hand them over now, or your world will suffer." Ethan stepped forward. "Earth has seen enough cruelty in the galaxy. We will not repeat it. The Vreen stay here." The ship moved closer. Drones scanned the camp, probing defenses. Ethan and his team used small EMP pulses to disable the machines, causing them to fall harmlessly to the ground. Karen helped carry an elder who had tripped during the commotion. Lyra helped children hide behind tents. The camp moved like a single unit, humans and Vreen working together. Inside the camp, Lyra whispered to Ethan, "They will attack soon." He nodded, "Perhaps. But we are ready." He watched the children playing quietly, trying to act normal despite the tension. "We fight only if necessary," he said. "Our priority is protection." Lyra held his arm briefly. "Thank you for staying, for helping." Ethan smiled faintly. "We have to. You deserve it." The first warning shots came at midday. Small energy pulses hit the perimeter, aimed to scare rather than kill. Dust and debris flew, and the Vreen shrank back. Ethan's team returned fire with defensive turrets, disabling the incoming weapons without harming life. "Do not panic," Ethan called. "Stay calm. Move slowly." Karen led a group to secure the most vulnerable areas. She held the hands of several elders, guiding them to shelters. Lyra stayed with the children, teaching them to stay low and follow the humans. "Keep close," she said. "Do not run. Do not scream. Humans protect you." The Alliance ship hovered, analyzing the camp. "Primitive, yet effective," one officer said. "Their tactics are unexpected." "They are stronger than we thought," another officer frowned. "This is unacceptable. We must escalate." But as the day went on, a surprising thing happened. Humans and Vreen continued their routines despite the threat. They shared food, helped the weak, and stayed calm. The Alliance had expected fear and panic. Instead, they saw cooperation and courage. That cooperation, simple but strong, confused the enemy. Ethan and Karen watched the sunset behind the mountains. The light reflected off the snow and tents, creating a calm scene that did not match the danger above. Lyra walked beside Ethan, her dark eyes reflecting the sky. "They are strong," she said softly. "Not like other worlds." Ethan nodded. "Humans can be surprising. They do what is right, even if it is dangerous." The night brought more scanning drones, but no major attack. The Alliance seemed unsure, testing rather than striking. The humans kept the Vreen calm. Children slept in safe zones, elders rested, and the camp remained quiet but ready. During a quiet moment, Lyra showed Ethan the device she had found on her ship. It contained information proving the Vreen had been framed. "If the Council sees this," she said, "they may understand. They may help." Ethan examined it. "We will use it. This is the truth. It will protect you." Lyra nodded. "The galaxy lies about us, but humans do not." Days passed with tension high. Each morning, drones scanned the area. Each evening, humans prepared defenses. But slowly, trust grew between the Vreen and humans. Children learned English words, helping them understand instructions. Elders shared knowledge of their home world, helping humans understand alien biology and medicine. Small acts of cooperation formed a bond stronger than fear. Ethan held a meeting with his team. "We may not have the biggest weapons," he said, "but we have courage, and we have the truth. That is stronger than any fleet. The Vreen are not just victims, they are our friends now. Protect them at all costs." His words were simple, but they carried weight. Each member nodded. They understood. They would not fail. Karen worked late into the night, helping Lyra organize medical supplies and translate information for the Council. "This evidence may save lives," Karen said. Lyra nodded. "It must, otherwise they will take us." Karen smiled faintly. "They cannot take what is protected by truth and courage." Ethan walked through the camp, checking defenses and talking quietly with the Vreen. Some smiled when they saw him. Children ran to him, holding small toys they had made. He knelt to each one, smiling, and whispered, "You are safe. Nothing will harm you here." For the first time in many years, Lyra felt that statement was real. The Alliance ship remained above, analyzing, threatening, and testing. But it did not attack directly. Ethan understood why. Humans and Vreen had shown cooperation, calm, and courage. They were not helpless. They were willing to fight if needed, but they were not reckless. That balance made the Alliance uncertain. Night fell, quiet except for soft wind and distant alarms. Lyra sat near a fire, children sleeping beside her. She whispered softly, "Humans, they are strong in ways the galaxy does not see." Ethan joined her. "They are, and you are strong too. Together, we can face anything." Above them, stars shone quietly. The galaxy that had cast the Vreen out watched silently. Earth had taken them in. Humanity had chosen courage and kindness, and that choice would soon echo far beyond the mountains and snow of Alaska. Ethan looked at the camp, at the children, at the sleeping Vreen. "The galaxy may come," he said softly, "but we stand together. We will protect them. No one will turn them away. Lyra nodded, holding the hands of the children. Together, she whispered, "We are not alone." The night ended quietly, but the calm was only temporary. Soon, the Alliance would decide whether to act or withdraw. For now, humans and Vereen waited. Prepared and ready, trust and courage had become their shield. And in that moment, hope burned brighter than any star in the sky.